Have you ever opened ChatGPT, typed a simple question, and then just stared at the answer thinking, okay, this was either way too long or not enough at all? Here's the thing. ChatGPT is actually meant to adapt to you, your style, your pace, the way you think and work. Most people don't realize this, but you can customize ChatGPT to behave exactly the way you want. You can make it give shorter answers, more detailed ones, sound more casual, more professional, or even work like your personal assistant. And once you change just a few settings, it honestly feels like you're using completely different version of ChatGPT. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the exact settings that you can customize, what each one does, and how these small changes can make ChatGPT far more useful in your daily life. So let's get started. Let's start with the most important setting, custom instructions. This is honestly the foundation of everything. Inside ChatGPT settings, there is a section where you can tell ChatGPT who you are and how you want it to respond. Think of it like introducing yourself once instead of explaining the same thing in every single conversation. You can mention things like the device you use, the kind of answers you prefer, or even how you want explanations to be structured. Once this is set, you'll immediately notice that ChatGPT stops behaving like a generic tool and starts responding in a way that actually feels tailored to you. This was my biggest issue with ChatGPT earlier. Whenever I asked a question, it would give a very long response. The information was there, but I had to read through everything just to find out the actual answer. So instead, I customized ChatGPT with one simple instruction. Respond directly to the question in 1 or 2 sentences first, and then give additional explanations only if needed using bullet points wherever possible. And just with that one change, everything felt different. Now ChatGPT gives me the answer upfront, followed by structured details instead of rambling paragraphs. I can read the answer and move on, or scroll down if I want more depth. That's the power of custom instructions. You're not changing what ChatGPT knows, you're just changing how it talks to you. And you can customize it in whatever way works best for your brain. Another thing that you can customize is the tone. Most people don't realize that ChatGPT can change the way it speaks entirely. You can tell it to be casual, friendly, conversational, or even say something like, talk like a real person, not a robot. Once you do this, the replies feel warmer and more natural. It no longer sounds like an instruction manual. This is especially helpful if you use ChatGPT every day. For example, I use ChatGPT extensively to respond to my business emails, where I need the tone to be more professional and to the point. So I've set the tone that way, and now I don't have to tell repeatedly to ChatGPT to phrase a response in a business-friendly way. Another really underrated customization is telling ChatGPT your skill level. This one makes a huge difference, especially if you use ChatGPT for learning new things. You can literally tell it whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or someone who already understands the basics. For example, if you're just starting out with something like AI, shortcuts, or even finance, you can say, explain this to me like I'm a beginner without technical jargon. And suddenly, the answers feel calm and easy to follow instead of overwhelming. On the other hand, if you already know the basics and you just want clarity or faster answers, you can tell ChatGPT not to explain obvious things again. That way, it doesn't spend half the response defining simple terms you already understand. This completely changes the learning experience. You're not constantly feeling lost and you're not feeling bored either. In fact, you can define your skill level already for specific topics. For example, I can say I'm fairly good at script writing and content creation. For app development, I'm an intermediate, especially with Swift programming. For machine learning and AI topics, I'm a beginner, and so on. You can give a fine-grained instruction once and done. One tweak that I personally love is asking ChatGPT to ask clarifying questions before answering. You can simply say that if more clarity is needed, it should ask you first. This completely changes the quality of responses. Instead of just guessing what you mean, ChatGPT pauses and then checks with you. It feels less like a search result and more like an actual conversation. The answer becomes far more accurate and useful because they are based on your situation, not just assumptions. Another powerful customization is connecting your own apps to ChatGPT. This is what allows ChatGPT to work with your actual data, not just generic information. Inside settings, you will find app integrations like Google Drive, where you can choose to connect your account. Once this is set up, ChatGPT can understand and work with the files you already have, your documents, notes, planners, or anything that you have saved over time. So instead of manually opening different apps and searching for things yourself, you can just ask ChatGPT directly. For example, I can ask it to summarize a document from my drive, pull key points from an old file, or help me understand something that I wrote months ago. It's especially helpful when you know the information exists somewhere, but you don't remember exactly where. This customization makes a big difference because now ChatGPT isn't working in isolation anymore. It's working with your ecosystem, your files, your notes, your workflows, all in one place. And again, you're fully in control. You decide which apps to connect, what stays connected, and you can disconnect anything anytime. ChatGPT only uses your data when you specifically ask it to. Another customization I use all the time is letting ChatGPT learn from my examples. And this is different from giving instructions. You're not telling it what to do, you're literally showing it how to do things. For example, if I've written an email reply that sounds like me, I'll paste it into ChatGPT and say, learn this writing style and remember it for future emails. After that, whenever I ask it to help me reply to a brand email, the tone already feels familiar. It actually sounds like something I would send. I use this for emails, captions, and sometimes even scripts. Once ChatGPT learns your style, you don't have to keep correcting it every time. You're basically teaching it how you communicate. This can be done in a ChatGPT chat as well with normal conversation. So try it out next time. Now, earlier I mentioned that you can ask ChatGPT to learn and remember things about you. And this is where the memory feature comes in. Memory is an actual setting inside ChatGPT that allows it to remember information across different conversations. So this isn't something that applies to just one chat. It carries forward over time. You can find this inside ChatGPT settings under memory, where you can choose whether ChatGPT is allowed to remember things or not. And what's really nice is that you can also see exactly what it has saved about you, edit it or delete anything whenever you want. You're always in control. Once memory is turned on, ChatGPT can remember much more than just tone or writing style. It can remember real-life context like an upcoming trip, your family members and their needs, the kind of work you do, your location, your food preferences, or even your favorite recipes. So later, when you ask something like, help me plan this trip or suggest meals for this week, it can already take those details into account instead of just asking you the same exact questions again. That's where the experience starts feeling very different. I use this a lot for repetitive things, travel planning, daily routines, meal ideas, or work-related planning. Instead of starting from zero every time, ChatGPT already understands my life a little, and that's what makes it feel less like a tool and more like something that actually works alongside you. Another really useful customization is schedules. This works together with app integrations. So once you have connected things like your calendar inside ChatGPT settings, you can start deciding when ChatGPT should help you, not just how. You don't have to go hunting for a separate schedule page. You simply type what you want in a normal sentence. For example, you can say something like, summarize my calendar every morning at 8 a.m. When you do that, ChatGPT automatically gives you the option to turn it on into a schedule. You just confirm the time and how often it should run, and that's it. Once the calendar is connected and the schedule is set, it runs in the background. So when you open ChatGPT later, the summary is already there waiting for you. The same works for things like weekly planning, daily reflection, or a Sunday reset. This isn't about reminders or notifications, it's about automating your thinking. Instead of repeating the same prompts every day or every week, ChatGPT handles it consistently for you. Over time, it quietly becomes part of your routine, helping you plan, reflect, and stay organized without extra effort. So that's how you customize ChatGPT to actually work around your life instead of you adjusting to it every time. Once you set these things up, the experience feels completely different. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who uses ChatGPT every day. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. This is Sanjana. Bye-bye.